Welcome to America's Talking, powered by the Center Square. I'm Dan McCaleb, Chief Content Officer at Franklin News Foundation, publisher of the Center Square Newswire service. After keeping government funding essentially on cruise control for the past 11 months, Congress is facing the threat of a government shutdown on October 1st if it does not pass the 12 annual appropriations bill that fund federal agencies. Joining me to discuss this is the Center Square's congressional reporter, Therese Boudreau. Therese, Congress is in its August recess, but when House representatives and senators return, they have a lot of work to do yet again. Where are we at in the process, and how do lawmakers plan to meet such a tight deadline?
Yeah, so right now, we're not very far along in the process. As you said, both chambers of Congress are in recess right now, and the Senate has only passed 3 of the 12 appropriations bills in a minibus package, and the House has only passed 2. And one of the bills that the House has passed is for the same agencies that the Senate is passed for. So they're going to have to work out the kinks of that. We'll probably see that happen a lot. But again, when they get back, they only have a couple of weeks until until at least a partial government shutdown on October 1st. And the problem is that lawmakers don't really want to work together right now. Especially Democrats are still very angered over the passage of the One Big Beautiful Bill, the giant legislation that it did a lot of things, but it permanently extended the Trump tax cuts. It reformed Medicaid programs. It did a lot of things that Democrats were unhappy about. And then there was also a rescissions package, which drew back some government, $9 billion in government funding for different foreign aid programs. So that was also something that all Democrats opposed. So they're really not in the mood right now to be talking with Republicans about what is normally a very bipartisan process, because obviously everyone wants to keep the government agencies running. Nobody wants a government shutdown. That would be very, very unpopular. And some have called it even political suicide if one of the sides says we're going to force a government shutdown. But again, there's not really a lot of room for talk right now. So the Senate's 3-bill minibus, that was bipartisan, but everything the House has been doing so far, when it's been passing out of committees and trying to get to the floor and getting to the floor in some cases, has been much less so. And again, if the Senate and the House both pass one of the same 12 bills, they have to make sure they're the same thing. So basically what we're looking at is we only have, by the time that Congress gets back, we'll only have, I think it's less than 3 weeks to pass all of the 12 appropriations bills. That is a very, very tight deadline, even if Congress was working together and everything was bipartisan and hunky-dory. So what's most likely going to happen is there's probably going to be another continuing resolution, which essentially would keep government funding on cruise control. They can make a little changes, but that's essentially what it does. And that would be the 4th time in a row that Congress has done that rather than pass all 12 appropriations bills. This past year, 11 months, coming up on 12 months, fiscal year 2025, there were no appropriations bills that passed. We've just been running off of 3 continuous CRs, continuing resolutions. So that might happen again if lawmakers can't get their act together.
These continuing resolutions, essentially what they do is they extend previous budget bills or appropriations bills that have passed, just continue that funding. As you said, they could make some minor changes there, but it's not a new appropriations bill. Is that right?
Yes, that's correct. And so different needs that might arise in different agencies, like if the FDA says, oh, we need more money to combat bird flu or something like that. And we need it in this specific way that only the appropriations process can give us, then the CRs actually become very unhelpful. They're not enough, right? There are different needs that the agencies have that sometimes can't be met because they're just stuck with whatever Congress did appropriate to them in the 12 bills in fiscal year 2024 at this point. So it's definitely tricky. There have been talks between Senate Majority Leader John Thune and Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer. But President Donald Trump has also inserted himself in the process a lot, and I think it seems like kind of blown up some things sometimes. So we're on really rocky footing right now. It's possible, that all 12 pass, but it is highly unlikely. And Thune has already essentially been talking about, we might have to do a CR again. So it'd be a fourth CR. But since Senate passed the minibus, that goes to the House now. It's pretty bipartisan. Hopefully it passes the House. If it passes the House, then that means that the minibus, the three bills that were in it were the ones that fund the legislative branch, the military, construction and veterans affairs, and then, it's slipping my mind. There's only three of them. But those at least you wouldn't need the CR to cover those agencies. So you'd have at least some agencies essentially that have updated funding. So yeah, that's where we're at right now. It's not ideal. The one big beautiful bill was a huge factor in the reason why it took them so long to craft these 12 bills. It just took up a lot of time. Even though they passed the last CR in March, so they've had months and months. But again, it's been kind of a whirlwind Congress, so makes sense that they'd be a bit behind schedule, but we'll just have to see.
Well, thank you for joining us today, Therese. Listeners can keep up with this ongoing budget battle at thecentersquare.com.